Everybody, Bill Caskey here. Better get the microphone ready. That wouldn't be good. I'm always complaining about people's microphones, and here my microphone was 6 feet from me. So glad you're with me today. We're going to be talking. This is a sales leader only episode. So if you're a salesperson, get out of the room. It's not for you. So what we're doing today, we're talking about the 3 mistakes that your sales team makes while in pursuit of new business. If you look around your sales team right now, you're a sales leader, a CEO, a founder, president. You look around your sales team, and I want you to do this for this exercise. I want you to think about the people in the middle. Don't concern yourself with the top level producers. I'm not saying they couldn't use this, and nor do I want you to concern yourself with the bottom. They may be gone anyway. But I want you to look at the middle, the mass in the middle. And as I go through these 3 things, I want you to ask yourself the question, do my people do these 3 things? Are they really masters at it? Are they really good at it? You know, we're going through right now a program called the $1 Million Seller Challenge. And if you want to get in on next month's, it starts in May 6th. Go to $1,000,000sellerchallenge.com. It's an awesome, we just finished challenge week. We're finishing it today, actually. It's a great session. We had 50 people on, a lot of learning. But one of the things I found is that we're not doing the things we know we should do. And I think it's the same thing with your people. Is a lot of times we know what to do, we just don't do it. It's the knowing doing gap. We know what to do, we don't do it. There's a gap, and that gap costs you a lot of money as a VP of sales. So I want to share with you 3 things that I find that are mistakes that your team makes and that you can help them correct. Because this whole thing is about helping you resolve some of these issues that you have. And that's why I titled this The 3 Mistakes, because I see it all the time. And they are mistakes. And these are mistakes that can cost you a lot of money. So here we go. Number 1 mistake that your team makes is they fail on process. They fail on process. Might be good on personality. Oh, our personalities are so good. We're so positive, and people love us when we walk in. People love us. We're fun. We're fun to work with. We drink with our clients. I'm all for personality, but if it's personality without process, it's useless. It's useless. Not useless. I mean, there's some value in having a great personality. There's a whole lot more value in having a great process. If you were to ask your people today, go around the room or call them up on and say, hey, how would you describe our sales process to a potential prospect? Let's pretend like you have to say, like, I'm the prospect. How would you present our sales process? And watch what they say. Watch what they say. Listen to what they say. And I'm not saying they'll say it wrong, but there'll be 5. If you have 5 different people you ask, there'll be 5 different processes. Why would you allow that to happen? Why do we want 5 different sales processes depending upon the personality of the salesperson? You want to nail your process down. You want it to be airtight. You want it to be water resistant, whatever the word you want to put in there, and then everybody uses it. Now, the way someone expresses it might be different, but the process is not different from one salesperson to the next. And that's what I find a lot of times when I start working with companies. I ask that question, what's your process? Everybody has a different answer. No, first thing we got to do is get the process right. Process before personality. You want to scale your business. You want your team to scale your business. You better make sure they're all on the same process. How they express it may be different, but you got to be on the same process. Mistake number 2 that your team makes is they allow enthusiasm to get in the way of the sale. They allow their enthusiasm toward the product, toward the solution, toward the desire of closing a piece of business to get in the way. Don't let your eagerness get in the way of them buying. Or don't let your enthusiasm get in the way of them telling you what their problem is. I have listened to phone calls. I have watched people. I have had people call on me. And I'm always examining their enthusiasm. We were taught wrong when we first got into sales. We were taught that enthusiasm is contagious. We were taught that. That's just absolutely wrong. When you go to a speech and you see somebody up on stage who's jumping around, chaotic, and they're enthusiastic, does that make you want to follow them? No, it doesn't. entertains you for 35, 40 minutes, but it doesn't make you want to follow them. And what we know is followers don't follow followers. Followers follow leaders. I want your team to be a leader. I want you to be a leader. Your team needs to lead the prospect. How do you lead the prospect? With enthusiasm? No. You lead it with process, and then you lead it with calmness and serenity. And the whole idea of the sales process is to create the environment where the prospect feels comfortable telling you their problems. If they don't tell you their problems and they can't identify and articulate their problems, they're not going to buy from you. So why would we want to do something like get really enthusiastic and eager? Why would we want to do something that gets in the way of them telling us their problems? Yet it happens all the time. You know what the average closing conversion rate in business to business sales is of proposals to closes? 15 to 20%. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, Bill, we're 70%. Okay, maybe you are. Most people don't even know that number. You as a VP of sales, you need to know that number. I hope I'm not coming across as a lecturer today. I'm sure I am. You need to know the conversion number. If you don't know the closing percentage to, number of deals versus number of proposals, how do you ever improve things? We've always, it amuses me. We talk about how, what was the saying? What gets measured gets done, or nothing gets improved. What gets measured gets improved, or something like that. And yet the simplest things to measure, we don't measure. What's the percentage of deals that you propose to the deals that you close? If you don't know that number, go find that number. Make it a goal by 5 o'clock today, you're going to know that number. And if you ask a dozen of your salespeople what that number is and none of them know it, you got a problem. You've got a problem. You're not paying attention to the details, to the metrics. And I know that your people will say, oh, but I'm not worried about the number. I'm more concerned with, yeah. But if you don't worry about the number, you don't know where the issues are. You can't improve. So number one was they fail on process. Number two, they allow eagerness and enthusiasm to get in the way of the customer telling you how to sell them. Remember, customer knows exactly how you should sell them, but if we don't listen, if we don't shut up, if we don't stop the eagerness and enthusiasm, we never hear that. Number three, this is the most common thing I hear from VPs of sales who call me. I had a call last week with a guy who I used to work with, and he has moved on from different companies, and he's at a different company now. And he's coaching, he's instructing and mentoring high achiever. These people are $500,000 a year or more people. And I said, well, tell me what's the issue? He goes, well, technical knowledge, we're awesome because we have so much technical knowledge. We're so good at what we do. I mean, the product and the solution are really good. He said, but we don't ask the right questions. We don't ask the right questions. We gloss over their answers and we go right to the pitch, right to the pivot. And he says sometimes that works, but a lot of times it doesn't work because we're not really sure why we're even pitching because we don't even know the problem or the destination the prospect's trying to get to. So that's a fundamental. That's a basic skill. I hear this all the time from VPs of sales, CEOs. If we only did the fundamentals. When I was playing high school basketball and college basketball, we used to work on fundamentals all the time. The crossover, the reverse, the dribble and shoot with your right hand to lay up, and on the left side, left hand, and the triple threat, how to put the ball behind you so you're a threat to dribble, you're a threat to pass, you're a threat to shoot. I was never much of a threat to shoot, but I was a pretty good passer and not a very good dribbler. My game was rebounding. When you rebound, there's fundamentals. How do you block out? How do you get down? How do you spread your arms? When do you jump? How do you see the ball as it comes off the rim? Those are all fundamentals. If you miss the fundamentals, you can't go to the advanced degree. If you don't know how to get open, whether you shoot 3-point shots in practice all the time doesn't matter because you're not going to get open. You're not going to have a chance to make a three during a game. I'm just finished basketball season, so it's in my brain. But there are fundamentals to every art, every art form. There's fundamentals. There's fundamentals to sales. Are your people doing the fundamentals? I'll bet they're not. Here's one. Here's one that your people need to practice until they get right. It's called the upfront position. The upfront position is how you position yourself upfront in the sales process. How you position yourself, not what you say. Just how do you position, mental position. I'm not talking about physical position, although that may be part of it. Mental position. How do you position yourself? So ask your team today. Remember, I told you at the very front, I want you to identify those middles, at-leaster, mass in the middle. Ask themselves, how do you position yourself when you first go into call on somebody, either on the phone, on a Zoom call, face-to-face? Well, how do you position yourself? And they're going to say, well, I kind of position myself like that. And you'll both laugh. But it's a serious question. How do you position yourself? How are you positioning yourself in your mind so that when you speak, your position translates to the customer? Most people have no idea what you're talking about. What could be more important? What could be more important in the sales process than how do you position yourself? And position yourself in your own mind and then with somebody else. Here's an example. I've got a client who used to position themselves as a solutions provider. They were the chief, the best and the brightest solution providers. We provide the best, the most luxurious solutions. And they struggled to get to 20% close rate. And as I went in and started working with them, I realized the problem. The problem is they were positioning themselves wrong up front. And if you do that wrong up front, then you never get a chance to save the sale, because you're starting off on the wrong foot. And so what we started to do with them, we started to help them position themselves as problem finders, problem identifiers. That was how they positioned themselves up front. They would go into the prospect and say, hey, look, I don't really know if we have solutions. I know we have some awesome solutions, and we used to talk about that a lot, but I would prefer to focus on what's the issue, what are the needs, what's the dilemma, what's the circumstance you're trying to get out of, and where are you trying to get over the course of the next year. And if I can help you either avoid the problems you're having or get to a new solution, then I would love to work with you. If I can't, then I'm not your guy. Totally changed their sales process, totally changed their conversion rate. They went from, 16%, as I remember, to 30, more than double. It went to 35%, just with a different position. So you think some of this stuff that I'm teaching you, oh, well, that's just incremental. That doesn't matter that much. You know how much longer it took them on a sales call to say those words? 12 seconds. 12 seconds. Now they had to live the words too. You can't just say the words and then go back and position yourself and act like an idiot. Do you know how long it takes? 12 seconds. Do you know how much they earned from that one little thing? So when you come on here and you listen to me and you hear some of these things that sound a little odd and sound a little crazy, I have a company call me the other day. I can't even tell you what's happened to that company. They've just exploded after we worked with them for probably 10 years off and on. And when I see the company now, and the VP of sales called me and said, you know what we're doing now? Do you know how much we're generating in revenue? And I didn't, because I'd kind of lost touch. And he told me, and it was like, are you serious? It was huge. I can't even tell you what it was. You wouldn't even believe it, from where they started to where they are now. And I said, what's the secret? And he picked up a copy of Same Game, New Rules. He said, this book is the secret. And he says, all of our new salespeople go through this program that we've created. And it's based on your book, Same Game, New Rules. And he said, we can point to everything. Now, we have to have good marketing, got to have good products, got to find the people. But when it comes to communicating the value, that did the trick for him. So when you hear me talk about these things, I know they sound small and insignificant, almost to the point where you can brush it off. That's okay. You can brush it off, but maybe you should try it. And maybe some of these things will help you. Once again, if you want some serious help, if you're truly committed to your growth as a human being and as a sales professional, I want you to go to milliondollarsellerchallenge.com. Join the challenge. It starts in May. It is a massive tuition. You will have to take out a loan for this tuition for this thing. It is $47 for the whole week, 1 hour a day for a week. You can upgrade. There's a VIP component too, but I just took 50 people through it this week, and the growth is incredible. So if you are willing to invest in yourself a pittance, then go to milliondollarsellerchallenge.com. Hope you enjoyed this today. Use this stuff. It works. It works for everybody. You got to use it though. You can know it and not do it. And again, that's the knowing doing gap. And the difference between you earning $100,000 a year and $1 million a year is just knowledge. That's all it is, just knowledge. See ya. Bye.